Welcome to the GOTO Podcast. Each episode covers the brightest and boldest ideas from the world's leading experts in software development. Tune in for practical lessons, compelling theories, and plenty of inspiration. GOTO gathers the brightest minds in the software community to help developers tackle projects today, plan for tomorrow, and create a better future. Stay up to date with the latest in tech through GOTO's top-rated events held online and in person in cities like Amsterdam, London, Copenhagen, and Chicago, and by subscribing to the GOTO Conference's YouTube channel, where you can find thousands more high-quality dev talks. Learn more at gotopia.tech.
Hey, everybody. Looking forward to this conversation. We're going to talk about one of the better books out there that I've read in the last few years, and certainly related to how people have been successful in the world of cloud computing. My name is Dave Linthicum, author, speaker, B-list geek, also author of Insider's Guide to Cloud Computing and 15 other books. But today we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about Prasad's book. So Prasad, give the listeners a quick bio where you came from, and then we'll get into the details around why you wrote the book and the contents of it.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Prasad Rao. I'm currently working as Principal Solutions Architect at AWS. I also run a free mentoring initiative called BESA with few volunteers here in UK. It's Become a Solutions Architect, where we help people to excel in their cloud careers, and recently co-authored Cloud Career Journeys book.
Yeah, so this is a unique book unto itself. When I read it, it was awesome because it gets into different journeys that different people had in their cloud computing career, which I think is a nice dynamic based on people are writing books about their own career paths. And you wrote a book about other people's career paths, including a diverse array of people, all the way from Jeff Barr, Lucy, Tech with Lucy, and a number of other people who are successful architects that probably have not been sung heroes as they should have been in the industry, but you sung their songs. So, what motivated you to write this book? What was the energy behind it?
Yeah, so frankly, the idea came from the mentoring program that we have been running. Right, the common feedback that we have got. And it's a group mentoring program. We have run 4 or 5 batches of that program. The common feedback from all the batches is that there is a lot of technical material or resources available. People can go on to Udemy and take courses. There are videos on YouTube. But people are still confused about the path that they should be taking to excel in their cloud career. So we thought if we are able to showcase the journeys of people coming from diverse backgrounds and show like how they have been able to succeed in their cloud career, what decisions they have made, what resources they have used, what challenges they have faced, how did they overcome those challenges. It will be helpful for others who are in a similar situation right now, thinking about what's the path forward.
Yeah, I think it's important because I find people question me all the time about how to do their cloud career best. And I'm going to recommend they read this book because it shows how other people have succeeded in different patterns. In other words, everybody's different. They learn differently. They want different jobs, different occupations, things like that. But they all found success through different paths. That's kind of the core theme of the book. And I think it's really something that people miss out there. You can't follow my path. You can't follow your path. It's something that's going to be successful for you. And so you can find things that you relate to in the book in terms of different paths of individuals and how they found the right thing to do and the right path. And I think that's absolutely amazing. So why'd you focus on people and not technology?
Yeah, again, as I said, a lot of technical resources available. So what we thought that what will be useful is if we are able to connect with people at a deep personal level. And that's what was the motive regarding like writing this book, that we would like to connect with people. And technology sometimes can be very scary, right? It can be intimidating, specifically for people who are thinking of career transitions into tech like cloud computing. So we wanted to show that how it is feasible. Like the truth is, behind every cloud professional, there is an incredible story to tell. And we wanted to highlight those stories through the book. So like the book has 16 stories. And we have deliberately categorized them in 6 categories, so that anyone who picks up the book And if they are able to relate themselves with at least one of the category or one of the people's journey, it will be helpful for them in terms of the background they are from, in terms of the career stage they are in, or the career aspirations that they have. They should be able to relate to at least one of the story. So if I talk about the categories briefly, the Pathfinders, one of the category, is about people who are coming from a completely non-technical background. Like Daniel, he was an Uber driver, right? And during the pandemic, when taxis were not running, people were in lockdown, he started learning tech. Like he was not even aware what an IP address is or what a subnet is. From that stage to now, he works as a senior cloud engineer with one of the cloud consulting company here in UK. And then there is a category undefeated, where people have been able to find success in cloud career against all odds. For example, Parna, she was on a career break for 12 years. And technology moves a lot ahead, right? She was a Java developer before going on a career break. But after 12 years, when she was thinking about returning to workforce, the landscape has changed. She started learning cloud, and now she works at AWS as a technical trainer in Mumbai.
Wow.
So we have stories, different categories like these. Progressives, another category, one of my favorite because I relate to it a lot. Because there are a lot of people who are in IT industry, but they are stuck with legacy technologies and they wonder how they can, make a switch to cloud. I was in similar situation. Like I come from a .NET development background, and it was not easy for me to make that switch to the cloud. So we wanted to showcase in this category journeys of people who use their existing IT knowledge to excel in the cloud career. Sammy Ching, whose story we have featured, he was a database administrator with more than 10 years experience. How he has used certifications to unlock his cloud career. So that's fascinating. And then we have categories like liberators and accelerators who help others in their cloud journey. They have not only upskilled themselves, but they have also helped others in their cloud journey.
So who did you most relate to? I think you just led into the initial there, but tell us who it was and why, and what their journey was that, kind of related directly to your own journey that resonated with you and your career.
So the journey that resonates with me is Kesha Williams. She comes from a Java development background initially. And then when she saw the cloud wave coming up, she started learning cloud. And then she, found the opportunities in the cloud, and she wanted to be, successful in that. So she was applying for those jobs where she will get experience in the cloud. She had, good development opportunities in her current role, but she scouted those roles where she'll be able to get, experience working with cloud.
So that was your favorite? What's
the favorite? Yeah. Okay. When you talk about the favorite story, right? So there are a couple of stories. Obviously, there are so many stories. Two stories I relate to most. One is Julie Elkins, in terms of it's most inspirational because of the twists and turns that she had in her career. She grew up in South Carolina. Her, family had a scuba diving business. So she has always been near the ocean. And she grew up thinking that she will become a marine biologist. But after the college, she joined to become a paralegal. That happens. You think about dreaming something else and you become something else. But she never thought that she will enter tech. After that, she got married, moved states, and she was stay-at-home mom for 10 years, more than 10 years, I believe. And then when she thought she will return to workforce, she joined a financial company. Again, nowhere near tech. But while working, she joined NSF, National Science Foundation, as an administrative assistant. That's where she got introduced to tech through her colleagues who were working in IT, working on servers, SharePoint. And that piqued her interest. And she started learning. And to solidify her learning, she did the certifications, the CompTIA, A+, and all to get the basic IT certifications. And then when NSF thought about moving to AWS, there was a mandate in the company for all the people who are working in IT to get certified. It was not required for her as an administrative assistant, but then she thought that she would do, certifications as many as possible. From that stage to now, She now works at AWS. She has all the 12 AWS certifications. She's a golden jacket holder. And she, in her role, is a curriculum developer, creates courses for AWS Skill Builder platform that helps other engineers upskill on cloud. So what I like is that how late in her career she thought that tech is the right career path for her, and how she has been able to make the switch. It has not been easy, but there was a pathway for her to make that switch.
So what were the attributes of the successful people that you found in the book? What were some of the common things that they had in common that led to their success?
Great question. So I'll give a bit of a backstory for that. So what happened when we were writing this book, we had some beta readers to get the feedback. And one of the feedback was that it's great that we are reading the journeys of others, but how will we be able to distill these common attributes or the tips that these people have followed, or what tips do they have for us? So that's where my co-author, Ashish, he came up with the idea of including AAA. AAA is action, advice, alert. Top 3 tips, top 3 advice that every people who have shared their journey, from them to the cloud professionals who are starting their journey or excelling, who are looking to excel in their journey, what 3 advice that they would be giving them, or what advice is more strategic, what 3 actions that they would be providing them, like what you can do right now to excel in your cloud career. And the 3 alerts. Alerts are more pitfalls or mistakes that you should be avoiding. So every journey ends with 9 tips for people looking for that. And we have 16 stories. So they are in total 16 into 9, 144 tips. Now, when I distill these 144 tips and come up with a common attribute, one thing that is, that strikes out is they all are relentless learners. They are all lifelong learners. And that is quite common actually, because everyone needs to learn. But what's interesting is the way they learn. So there are 3 things. They learn by doing, they learn by sharing, they learn by teaching. And it has been captured in multiple AAAs. Learn by doing is like when you are learning, just not learn by, reading white papers or watching the videos. Try and do hands-on as much as possible. The doing part gets you the skills. Learn by sharing. When you share with others, when you share with your network what you are learning, it helps you, others find you. There are multiple people who just by sharing their knowledge with, on LinkedIn, they have been able to get calls from the potential employers. And the third part, learn by teaching, is when you're at a certain level, when you can impart to others, it helps not only others to upskill, but also solidifies your learning. So it reinforces your learning. So that's a common attribute that I have seen with all the people who have been able to excel in their cloud career.
So whose journey most surprised you out of all of the people you talked to? What was like the one thing that you said, this is really not what I expected?
Ryan Kurenberg, hands down. So everyone knows Ryan Kurenberg as the founder of A Cloud Guru, right? He's well famous for that. And we reached out to him that we want to feature your story in the book, and we went on an interview with him. Least expecting that he does not come from a technical background. Like I used Ryan courses. In fact, during the AWS interview, I did not have any AWS background. So during the interview process, I had to upskill myself on AWS. So I took Ryan's course and I upskilled myself. And I was in love with his teaching style. At that time, I would have never thought that he comes from a non-technical background. But in the interview, when we got to know that he is an immigrant, he was an immigrant lawyer. So he was a very successful immigrant lawyer running his own company in UK, helping people migrate to Canada and Australia, right? During the 2008 financial crisis, when the economy collapsed, there was overnight demand got evaporated because people were not migrating countries anymore. And that's how his, immigration business got shut. And he enrolled himself in a night school to learn tech. That's how his entry in tech happened. And from there, obviously, his first job was like help desk IT, where he was helping people with their Blackberries and stuff. That was his first tech job. And then he started, learning more and more and started getting into mainstream IT. And when Cloud Wave came, he learned cloud. And then, rest is history. Like he founded A Cloud Guru, which has helped millions of people, upskill on cloud.
Yeah, it's an amazing business. I just watched it grow up. I had no idea that was that we had that kind of leadership behind it. I think it's an inspiring story because people are always saying, "Well, I can't get to that level. I can't be that person." You can if you put the work in, you put the time in, you have the acumen, you have the desire, and you have the passion to do it. It's going to happen for you each and every time. That's kind of a common pattern that I see in the business. In other words, it's not a lot of stories where people put the time and energy in and had the passion for it where they didn't make it. Almost all of them made it. They're able to put the time and energy into it. And there's so many people out there that are willing to help you if you show these attributes, if you show the passion, you show there to be a continuous learner. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter your education. It's just your willingness to do that. And I think that's probably the most important attribute that I look for when I work with somebody or hire somebody. So let's put on our future-looking hats for a bit. So, what do you think the future of cloud computing is, and how will people's journeys likely change around the changing future?
Sure. So, when you talk about cloud computing, one thing that I believe would be companies would be focusing more and more on cost optimization. Like it's happening anyways now, right? When companies have migrated to cloud, they thought that their bills will go down automatically. That's because, if you move to a hyperscaler, we are playing with the economies of scale. It's going to happen automatically, but that's not the case. Companies are realizing that you need to actually build a cloud-first mindset. You need to build applications which are much more native so that you can take advantages of cloud in a way it actually can help you and become more cost efficient. So in terms of skills, the professionals who would be having skills of building cloud-first applications and helping companies reduce their cloud costs, that would be really in demand. And if I look into the other angle, more and more workloads would move to edge. And it's already happening. So they would be inevitably hybrid environments. So people who will be having skills about managing these complex hybrid environments, they will definitely be in, more and more demand. So it will not be like, traditional legacy workload migration from your on-prem to, cloud. Those could still be relevant, but these extra things is what would be more and more helpful. And definitely security, right? As more and more workloads move to cloud, people who have this knowledge about how to handle the cloud security would be really helpful. And with this rising wave of AI, things are going to change, and they are changing at a rapid pace. People would need to know how, they should be using AI for their advantage.
Yeah, I think that's so. What should we be looking at now in terms of where we're investing time and energy into training? What career bets should we be making differently now that AI seems to be driving the future than it was maybe the last 10 years, where we're focusing on just cloud-based systems?
Yeah, so see, AI is a big productivity boost, and I know there's a scare that jobs would be taken away by AI. I would say AI is more of which will help you do your job in a more efficient manner than taking away jobs. And I look into two specific buckets. One, people who will be working on AI ML technologies. And that's where, people with having skills for data engineering or training models or building the AI ML applications, that will be really useful. So if you have those skills, it will be, for the foreseeable future, you will be in demand. But there will be other set of cloud professionals who might not be working directly on AI technologies, but they will be using AI technologies for their benefit, for boosting their productivity. Like for example, if you're a cloud developer, how you can use AI coding assistant for your advantage to make yourself more productive. Or even if you're not a developer, how you can use AI in your day-to-day activities. Like there are a lot of cloud operations like monitoring and other things that can be easily automated using AI, so that we as cloud professionals will be able to invest our time in, higher value tasks, right? And it's about how you can effectively integrate and leverage these AI tools within the cloud workflows and processes. People having those skills will be really important. And not just about technical skills, I would say here. It's also about understanding the AI ethics, data privacy, and how you can use these responsible AI practices. That will be really important for us to advance all of us together.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. So whose journey would you like to have covered but did not?
No, that's a good question, David. So initially when we started the book, we thought about we'll be covering 20 stories. Book now covers only 16 stories. One of the story, if you remember, David, we wanted to cover your story. Like me and my co-author, we had a initial introduction call with you. And that's when we got to know your story. And it was amazing. Not only the success that you have had, but how it has evolved over the years. But when we started writing the stories and we reached around 13th story, we realized that we will not be able to cover the full 20 stories. We thought initially our book will be around 250 to 300 pages, but we have reached already around 400 pages. The book currently stands at around 401 page. So that's why, we had covered only 16. So yours is one of the story. There are a few others whom we thought we'll be able to cover, but we were not able to cover.
Yeah, I was not looking specifically for that answer, but it's fine. And I don't mind not being covered. And the fact of the matter is you covered amazing stories in the book that I think were probably more important to tell. Everybody knows my story, but some of the stories out there.
Sorry. One thing that we are planning to do is start a newsletter, Cloud Career Journeys. So the community has been really helpful. There are so many people who have reached out to us saying that you should be covering, here is the person who has another interesting story. You should be covering them in your next book. And they have been giving us so many suggestions. Writing another book might be a very heavy lift for us. But what we thought that we might start a newsletter where, it will be bi-weekly or once in a month. We would be covering one story and see how it goes.
Yeah, everybody has full-time jobs. You can't punch out books every couple of months. I got to explain that to people too. This is like the publishers think, well, you do another book. It says, writing a book is hard. I got a job, I got money to make, and there's certainly money to be made from books, but it's not as much as we can do in a daily job. So, what was it like to interview Jeff Barr as a friend of mine? That was interesting to me. And what were some of the things that he said that you were surprised he said, and some of the things you expected?
Yeah. So, when we started writing this book, we initially thought that we will be showcasing people whom we have helped as part of BESA initiative that we have did, right? And we'll showcase their journeys. 7 of the people who were part of the BESA mentoring program were able to join AWS. But then we thought we will think big and let's cold call and let's start reaching out to others in the industry and see what the reaction would be. And we never thought Jeff would be having time to, share his journey for us. But when we reached out to him, he was way too gracious. And he said that yes. And in fact, he was so excited about this whole concept of the book that he said that he would write his own story for the book. So if you see Jeff's story in the book, it's in a different format to other stories. Other stories is like we interviewed them and we wrote their, story. It goes both as a dialogue and a narration. Jeff, though we interviewed, but then he said that he would write his own story. Few other things that he has mentioned is we always think that a person who is at that stature would be having a great educational background, but he went to just a community college, and the way he started his story, and he shared quite personal things about his parents and how he was close with his grandfather, how he met Bill Gates, what happened there. Really interesting incidents about his life journey in this book. And one thing that I loved about is that tour that he's made as part when he was in AWS as an evangelist. He did a tour of entire US, meeting the AWS communities across multiple cities. And there was a quite long road trip that he has taken. So that was also very fascinating.
Yeah, Jeff's an amazing person. I've known him for 20 years, and it is. I read his story, and I was just surprised at where he came from, and some of the. Everybody thinks that people who are successful have had every advantage is afforded to them. One of the common patterns in your book was the fact that wasn't almost ever the case. In other words, it was people struggled through normal struggles, and there was some diversity. There was some adversity that was very changing, and we read those in the book. As far as people have to make their way and make educational decisions and job decisions and personal decisions, things like that, and the ability to kind of make those in ways that are going to get you successful is going to be a pattern into itself. Now, I'm certainly we can point to lots of people who have Ivy League degrees and they've got directly into MIT and stuff like that. And they've certainly had successful career paths that are launched from those kind of backgrounds. But the majority of impressive people that I'm seeing, come from areas that are unremarkable. In other words, they did normal stuff. They went to community college, not Ivy League schools. They worked as a server in a restaurant for 4 years to earn their college versus getting these huge loans and things like that. They didn't get a scholarship, and they were able to just weaponize that into something that was going to, push their career forward. And that's just kind of an amazing story. It gives hope, I think, to everybody I communicate with out there that think the world's against them. That the fact of the matter is, no matter who you are, where you're from, economic backgrounds, the amount of challenges that are in front of you, and some people have real challenges, you can make it in this world. And the world's your oyster right now. Training is available. If it's not free, it's almost free. People are willing to hire you. There's I think a 1% unemployment rate in the tech field globally. We need more technicians out there. So the more we can make, the better we have. So what advice would you give somebody who's just entering this field right now? So in other words, they're 18 years old. Sometimes they want to go to college. Sometimes they don't want to go to college. What would you recommend that they do? What path would you consider to be the best path for them, or at least options they should be looking at?
Yeah, obviously there is no one size fits all path, right? So it has to be, you need to think about, after looking into other people's journey, what's best for you. And it's not about just mastering the technical aspects. If you're thinking about cloud career, it's about having the courage to step out your comfort zone and believing in yourself that you can adapt and grow. One thing that I advise most people, and I've seen this, people who are mainly transitioning into tech, what helps them is when they start building in public. Even if you're doing a small Hello World program, share it with everyone. Like Ifyani, one of the person whose story is featured in the book, he transitioned from being an athletic to cloud career. So he has participated, I think, in world championships for long jump, right? From that, he moved into a cloud career. What he used to do is that when he started learning tech, he started sharing a lot. Even if it is a hello world in Python, he shared about it. And then a lot of people started reaching out to him saying that, can you help me also enter tech? He was like, I'm just starting. I'm not able to help you, but I'll see what I can do. But while he was doing that, right, within, I think, 6 months or so, it's not easy. It's not that, today you'll do a certification and you share something, you get a job. But 6 months, a year, he got a call from a CEO of one of the company to hire him. And that's what happens. When you are consistent, when you step out of your comfort zone, it will be difficult. But when you keep at it for, at least not a very long time, but at least consistent to a considerable time, that people start noticing you. People start noticing your hard work. People start feeling that you have that grit to make it into the industry, and the opportunity starts coming to you automatically.
Yeah, I think you mentioned the key word there is grit. People are looking for that fire in the belly, and that not a lot of people have that. But that's why you hire people that have the willingness to expand their careers and learn, not necessarily people who understand everything coming into a job. You got to remember, everything's going to be changing. So whatever is pertinent to technology now, certainly it's generative AI and cloud-based systems, in 4 years, it's going to be a different path. And you have to be able to pivot, understand, figure out how do you apply this technology in ways that are going to be more productive out there. I think that's a key learning pattern that you just related. So where can the audiences go to find this book?
So it's available on Amazon, or we have a website, cloudcareerjourneys.com. You'll be able to find all information there, and you can download a free preview to the book. There's one full chapter included in that free sample, along with some of Jeff's story also in there.
Awesome. Where can they go find out more about you? What about social media that you use, things like that, other work that you have out there?
Find me on LinkedIn, Prasad Rao. Prasad Rao AWS. You should be able to find me. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, and I try and respond to every message that I get on LinkedIn. So feel free to connect with me, and let's have a chat.
Prasad, this is an amazing discussion. It was an amazing book. I was privileged to read it and to help you guys out with it. And it's great to talk to you now. I think it's going to be continued success. And What I love about it is you're teaching people how to be successful. You're not telling people about your success or writing about particular technologies. You're giving them guidance through use cases, in this case, people's experience, and how they can be successful with this technology. So thank you very much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you so much, David. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the GoTo podcast. Head over to gotopia.tech to discover lots more content from the brightest minds in software development.